Mrs. Wilkins had lost Mr. Wilkins a long time ago. Where had he gone? She didn't know. Her heart grew sad and weak because she missed his soft kiss upon her cheek. She was worried the memories she had made might disappear into dust and start to fade. Like the time they went to the beach, or the time they went to France. Like the trip to the picture house, and their first wedding dance. One day, Mrs. Wilkins decided enough was enough, so she went to look through her stuff. She put her hand in her bag where her lost things usually were, but she pulled out a little dog who gave a little grrr. "He has to be in here somewhere," Mrs. Wilkins said with a sigh. But then she pulled out his favourite book and his model toy that could fly. Next came his drum kit and his big shiny car. Mrs. Wilkins started going, completely gaga. Next she pulled out a camera and the world's biggest banana. Mrs. Wilkins felt like giving up due to all the drama. Mrs. Wilkins looked at the mess and started to frown, so she picked up her bag and stomped into town. Then came her wedding cake and the Eiffel Tower. Then came a rainbow and the world's most beautiful flower. Mrs. Wilkins fell to her knees and felt like giving up, but she put her hand in her bag for one final look. She rummaged for one last time and felt a shiny, bald head. "That's Mr. Wilkins," she smiled and said. Mrs. Wilkins shed a tear and gazed into his eyes. Mr. Wilkins gazed back and said, "True love never dies." "Don't leave me again," Mrs. Wilkins said with cheer. "I never left you in the first place. I've always been right here." They hugged for one last time before he went back to the bag. "Thank you," he said, "for all the good times we've had." Mr. Wilkins jumped back in the bag and vanished in thin air, but Mrs. Wilkins knew she could find him anytime, anywhere.